Hey, my name is David Brown. I've been a live sound engineer professionally for about 8 years now. Some of the artists I've worked for include Jane's Addiction, Chance the Rapper, Gary Clark Jr., Bush. A lot of people come into live sound and they just go into clubs and try and learn from scratch, maybe with like some basic knowledge. And it's a long road to learn everything. The importance of being educated and going to school for it. You can get a lot of that out of the way and you can hit the ground running. A lot of this career path is troubleshooting and knowing what to do when things go wrong and how to deal with the unexpected situations that pop up, which is constantly. And even almost a decade into my career, I'm still learning stuff, but if you can have a good solid foundation to build on, it's going to help you get past that initial level of being in clubs and being like really struggling. And it's a lot about networking in this whole career. So if you come out the gate with a good education and you know what you're doing, you're going to pick up work a lot faster. You're going to be in a lot better situation to advance in your career way fast. When I first started my career, I was in recording studios, and then I made the switch to doing live sound. And while taking some of that information from recording arts was important, and I knew like some of the gear and some of the fundamentals, just learning live sound and the rush and how like everything's on the spot, where if you're in a studio, you have hours to solve problems. Sometimes you have a 15-minute changeover between bands and like the problem's happening now. You have thousands of people in the audience. Like you need to figure it out quick. So that's like one thing that's very different about live sound versus the recording industry is it's happening now. There's a lot of people. It's a lot of pressure. I always say it's kind of like riding a bull, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but you just need to like be fast, troubleshoot, get it done. And I think it's thrilling. I think it's more fun than being in a recording studio. It's a lot less stuffy. It's a lot of adrenaline rush. And when you pull it off, it's an awesome feeling. Past couple years and going forward, the demand is insane. Seems like every club is looking for qualified people. Tons of bands looking for qualified people, be it on a smaller local level or big international touring. The amount of jobs that are happening right now are just insane. I know my phone's blowing up. One of the best parts of live sound for me is the opportunity to travel, work with bands all over the world, see different stages, work on tons of different gear. You learn tons of microphones, different techniques. Personally, I like the ability to work with, sometimes you're working with 5 bands in one night, so your networking abilities are insane. And you're always meeting like the opening band or the direct support. Like there's tons of people you can meet. You come across other audio engineers on a daily basis, which is something, at least for me in recording studios, I didn't get, but with live sound, I get to constantly build on my field of knowledge from other professionals in my industry. And I find it very helpful, and it keeps me growing nonstop. One of the great things I think about an institution like MI is you're surrounded by tons of students, tons of upcoming artists. There's so many bands that are filled with MI students, top quality. And if you're learning to be an audio engineer, like immediately your network is huge right there. And just having a school with a name like MI behind you, like people are immediately going to know like, oh, you've received an education. You know what you're talking about. You're just going to have a lot more credits behind your name coming out the gate. So I think that's great. One big piece of advice I would give is just like, don't be afraid to take a gig even if you think it's a little outside of your skill set. Like push yourself into situations that scare you. Every time I've grown in my career, it's been a terrifying experience, but you come out the other side. I always say like, look for opportunities that kind of make you nervous, kind of terrify you. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just go for it. It's just music. It's all fun. We're all going to survive, and that's just how you grow and get better. So that's my advice, is just push yourself to get out there and get a little outside of your comfort zone, and that's where you'll find the most growth.